Guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an article titled Women's Unrealistic Dating Expectations for Men, 9 Worst Ones. And guys, this article it's written by a guy, and it goes into all these different typical unrealistic expectations that women have. Now, obviously a lot of you guys know about the 4 sixes, okay, of the unrealistic expectations that so many women have in this day and age. 6 feet tall, 6-pack, 6 inches plus down there, and of course a 6-figure salary, 6-figure income per year. Now we all know darn well that you look at some statistics, and it's not hard to see that trying to get all those in one guy, or even just one sometimes, good luck, let alone multiple ones here. But that doesn't stop the unrealistic expectations. And yet, a lot of them don't get this and complain that there's no great guys out there, or where are the good men and all that. And all those other unrealistic expectations. And again, so many women wonder why they're alone. And it's easy to point the finger at us and say there's no good men out there, when that's total horseshit. There's plenty of great men out there, but they're not all going to have these things. And of course, just the other BS that a lot of women put guys through. So I'm going to go into his thing here, and this guy tends to go off on some things, which I'm going to skip. So you guys that follow me as I do the video, I have a link to this in the description. You're going to see where I'm going to jump ahead. So if it seems like I'm off, just pause it, and you'll find where I am, okay? So it starts off, I always hated dating. It was a lot of work for a lot of poor matches, wasted time, and money. That's why you have one drink on the first date. But one of the biggest challenges was in dealing with women's unrealistic dating expectations. Here's what I mean. Some women expect a man to pay for everything, but to also know when she wants her independence. Others ask for vulnerability in men, but then she sees them as weak for showing it. Still, others expect men to know exactly what they want and need, but without being told. But that's only the beginning. In this article, we are diving deep into the world of dating. We'll define it, answer all the top questions, and review some of the basic assumptions both men and women tend to make. Ultimately, though, we'll begin by examining women's unrealistic dating expectations. So I'm going to now jump over a few parts here because it just goes on forever and get right into the good stuff. He says real quickly, women and their expectations. It's completely normal for women to have expectations of men. Where women tend to go wrong is having unrealistic expectations of men. Some of the expectations women have for men are so ridiculous that they'll never meet any man that will make them truly happy. If they're basing their relationship standards on silly expectations that would be impossible for men to meet. Well, look, they're never really ever happy or truly happy. I mean, most women are always going to find something to complain about, and that's just how it is. I'm not justifying it, I'm just telling you how it is. And now he's going to go to 9 unrealistic dating expectations women have for men. Number 1, he's supposed to be good at manly tasks. This expectation is by far one of the silliest. It is not what a man does for a living that makes him a man. It's what is in him. That expectation will keep women from many wonderful men. Let's say the man didn't have the most toned chest or arms, but graduated from medical school and is preparing to be a doctor. A woman with the assumption he wasn't manly enough might never get past the first date and might miss a great catch. But honestly, he probably dodged a bullet there. Yeah, well, if you got a guy that's he's going to medical school, the odds are he's going to get past the first date because she's going to want to latch on to this guy because he's going to be a doctor. And doctors, even though they obviously have high student loans, ultimately that's a good payday for her down the road. But I see where he's coming from with letting a good guy go because it's just stupid crap. This is an expectation that women have at all different ages too. It's not just a thing for young men and women. Men and women of all ages experience this. Whether you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, it's never too late to pursue your dreams. If you meet someone and her expectations are unrealistic like this one, don't waste your time. Number 2, a man is supposed to know exactly what women want and need. Translation, they want men to be a mind reader. I've had so many girlfriends over the years, I specifically say, tell me what you want. I'm not a mind reader. I can't read minds, okay? How many of you guys have been through that, right? He says, how on earth is a man supposed to know exactly what a woman wants and needs when a woman doesn't know what they want and need half the time? If I had a dime for every time I told my wife I'm not a mind reader, if I was a mind reader, I'd be a wealthy man. Now, that's not the case for all women. A lot of women know exactly what they want out of life and out of a man very early in life. But a lot of women have this expectation for men and can't even give a clear-cut answer on where they want to have dinner. Ain't that the truth? The only way this can be achieved is by communicating, and even with that, it's not something that's going to happen overnight. It will take time. The dating, and he says in parentheses, interview process, is when a lot of the getting to know you happens, but it's an ongoing process that never really ends. Some people have been married for years and still learn new things about their spouses. Well, actually, that's a good thing. It's good to have some mystery there because women love guys that are mysterious and they can't figure out. So, little tip, guys, those of you who want to do relationships, don't go, or just dating, don't go telling the girl your whole life story on the first freaking date, okay? Let her find things out about you over time. Will keep her interested. Trust me, just a little tip there. Number 3, as a man, he's supposed to take care of everything, but still allow me my independence. Gender roles have changed a lot since the TV couples of the 60s and 70s. So don't be surprised, even if young guys today are a little confused. Should we guys pay for everything? If yes, does the woman tell us that? Hint, no. If we aren't supposed to pay for everything, how do we know when we should? Women today have an unparalleled world compared to previous generations. More freedom and independence, closer pay equality, and the option to do just about anything a man can do. But for us guys, it's just not clear-cut as it was for our grandfathers. So help the guy out and just be clear about what you want from him and what you need. Good luck, buddy. Really good luck there. Most guys are just fine paying for everything or letting you get the check sometimes. But don't expect us to know what you prefer. You have to tell us. Yeah, well, you can get some women that will say they want guys to, that they want 50-50 on the bills and everything. But when you actually let her pay for it, well, guess what? Then she doesn't want 50-50 or whatever. Or you can get women that a guy could be traditional and want to pay for dinner because let's just say he invited her out. It was his idea. And he goes to pay the bill. And you get one of these effinists that gets mad, and she gets mad about it, and you can have a whole great night, a lot of fun hanging out, and then the bill comes, he offers to pay the whole thing, and she gets all offended because he wants to pay, the whole bill, when, it should be equal. Well, so there's so many different scenarios here, and it depends on the woman. Number 4, this is one that's a good one. He's supposed to be both masculine and sensitive. Men and women want manly men, but they also want him to be sensitive. Granted, this is not an impossible task or feat, but it's just a little contradictory to the request of being manly. Not to make the stereotypical assumption men make, but women want a man who they can share their feelings with. Ha. But they also want a man they feel can protect them if they're in danger. As mentioned earlier, it is not impossible to do, but the woman will have to find a man who can cater to those needs of hers. And she will definitely need to make that exception known up front. It is not an expectation that will necessarily run a man off, but is also a question where he'd be able to let her know if he is that type of person for her. So many times you have women say that I want a guy that's going to be open with his feelings and talk about his emotions, or a guy that could, no joke, could cry to me and tell me his vulnerabilities. And I have made this clear from almost the get-go. Since I started this channel, never do that. Never go to your girlfriend or wife or the girl you're dating with your problems. Don't go crying to her. Don't go pouring out your emotions. Don't do that whole sensitive crap that you see in the TV and movies. I guarantee you, mark my words, it will end badly. And I always get people that hate on me for saying this, but I'm not going to back down on this because I've been through this too many times. And I know so many guys that have been through this and it ended badly, okay? If you got to let things out, and you should let things out, confide in your best friends, your buddies that you know without a shadow of a doubt have your back. Do not do this whole sensitive guy bullshit, okay? It's going to turn her off, okay? And that, in terms of opening up about your feelings and fears and vulnerabilities, that bullshit that you see on TV, you do that, guess what? If things go bad, she could use that against you, and it will happen. And I know guys have written about that in comments and things like that, okay? Trust me, don't do it. Okay, and this whole sensitivity crap, carrying babies and acting all soft, it's not going to work. Okay, she'll start seeing you because you're acting more feminine. Okay, a lot of people have a problem with me saying this, but you know what? Tough shit. Find another channel. But I'm being honest here. Number 5, expecting his place to have a lot of feminine touches. Unless he's recently divorced or his old girlfriend just moved out, don't expect his house or apartment to look like he just finished his episode Queer Eye. and he did just get divorced, or his girlfriend just moved out, you have bigger problems anyway. Now the above being said, it is a red flag if his place looks like a college dorm with neon beer signs and foam furniture. No, a real man who's in his late 20s or beyond should have his act more together than that. But don't necessarily expect matching sheets and pillowcases, tasteful art being hung, or pristine living room furniture perfectly coordinated with accent pillows and throws. He's a guy. He may very well use his apartment to watch sports with his buddies, drink beer, or binge out on Netflix after a long day at work. Not having a perfect sense of home decor doesn't make him a deal breaker. You should see my place, okay? I don't have matching stuff or furniture or anything like that, but it's a nice place, okay? But the idea, if this guy has everything so perfect and looks like you're going to the furniture store and everything is matching and perfect and all that, you got to ask some questions here because there's something going on here, okay? But like he said, if he has neon beer signs that looks like a college dorm, that's another red flag as well. That's taking things too far in the other direction. Number 6, that he's not for me. It doesn't want to do everything I do. I'll be honest, my wife loves to watch Downton Abbey. I never really tried to watch it, but it's not really my cup of tea. Pun intended. I'd much rather rewatch a Star Wars movie, but does that make me incompatible? No. Now, if we had nothing in common for activities, music, and movies, that would be different. But it's totally okay to have some different likes and dislikes along with areas where you overlap. Who knows, you might discover new things along the way you didn't know you liked. Ultimately, it comes down to this for you relationship guys. It's not what you're... basically, it boils down to if you like... you can be different personalities, but it's important to like the same things. That's really what it boils down to. But it doesn't mean you have to like everything and have everything in common in terms of interest and things you like to do. But it is important you do like a lot of similar things. Otherwise, it's not going to work. You know, and you can have different personalities and opposites attract. Number 7, expecting the guy to be 100% confident on the first date. Let's be honest, first dates are awkward. Whether you got matched up by friends or a dating app, either way, it's still an uncomfortable thing. After all, no matter how much you read about them on a profile or social stalking that you did, you have no idea what the chemistry will be like. So if it's awkward for you, it's going to be awkward for him too. Well, not necessarily. That's okay, as long as the awkwardness slowly melts away throughout the date. I get that confidence in a guy is an attractive quality, but you can't expect him to be 100% confident upon the first meeting you. You may be the catch of the century, but he doesn't know that yet. Well, he's going to know a lot of that just by how you look. So do and say things to ease the tension. Crack a joke, bring up the elephant in the room, his confidence will come through loud and clear. Translation, cut the guy a break. If he's not walking in with the confidence and mannerisms of James Bond, give the guy a break. Whether this will fall on deaf ears for the women that watch this, who knows. But yeah, most guys aren't going to be fully confident like James Bond the first date. But I'm not saying you can't go in there acting like it's your first time you've been out with a woman ever. Okay, come on here. Obviously, for the young guys watching this, they get a pass. But if you are a man in your 30s and 40s, you know, I am hoping you have some experience getting out there talking to people. And if you don't, go outside, go out in stores, wherever you like to go, and just start talking to random people to help you get better at your social skills. Number 8, expecting the guy to call or text after the first date. I wish it were painfully obvious to both people as to whether or not a date went well. But let's face it, it's not always. If you're good at reading people and body language and all that, you gotta know darn well whether the date went well or not. At the end of the day, if you go to kiss her and she gives you a hug, or she turns and gives you the cheek, or she backs away, that's a big sign that the date did not go well. So just, cut your losses and move on, okay? Little tip there. She doesn't kiss back on the first date. Either she's not into you enough, or she has rules and she's going to wait a while before actually kissing you, which means her rules are going to be a pain in the ass going forward. And it can be a long time before you even sleep with her. So just move on. A little tip there. But, okay, I'll go along with his little thing here. But, some guys are clueless and don't know. They can't read or feel the situation, how it went when they went out with the girl. He says, but if you had a great time, don't sit around for days waiting, expecting him to call or text. Let him know. He may be unsure. He could have also misread a signal, or he may just gotten busy at work. Plus, this is the modern age. Women can do anything men can do, including being the first one to call or text after a date, or arrange a second one. Well, a lot of times, even if they like the guy, they may wait around for a few days just waiting to see how long it's going to take him to reach out. Basically, how much does this guy like me to reach out? Is he going to reach out right away? Well, then now I know he really likes me. That takes away some of the mystery. That's why I tell you guys, don't do it. At the end of the day, don't do this whole, oh, I had such a great time and blah, 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 blah. No, don't do that, okay? You want them to wonder, did this guy actually like me? Is he interested in me? If she wonders about you, she's going to think about you, and that will cause a positive effect on her view towards you. She'll talk about it with her friends, and she's unsure. Women hate uncertainty, but yet, interestingly enough, they're attracted to guys that make them uncertain. Number 9. Asking him to be comfortable, showing vulnerability, but thinking of him as weak when he shows it. That's back to the whole guy talking about his feelings. She wants him to open up and talk about his feelings, and then when he does, then she turns her off. More and more these days, guys are asked to show vulnerability. We're told that it's okay to cry, and not just watching Titanic. This guy's definitely a little girly. We get asked to share our feelings, but some women sometimes secretly judge us when we do these things. What'd I tell you? We can be seen as weak or less manly if we let our guard down. Honestly, it can be very confusing as a guy in today's world as we get a lot of mixed messages. I get an ideal world, guys would know when to be vulnerable and how far to let it go. But it's not a perfect world, and navigating relationships is forever tricky. So don't judge us for it, and if you need something different from us, don't be afraid to ask. Well, like I said earlier, because it's something I covered was kind of like that, don't talk about your feelings and emotions, okay? If she sees you're upset about something or you got a lot on your mind, just say, oh, I got a lot on my mind, or I had a bad day, I'll be fine tomorrow. It'll work itself out. Done. Change the subject. How was your day? Move on. Because you start pouring out your emotions, you start pouring out your feelings, your insecurities, you stop being the rock that she wants you to be, and now you're trying to make her your rock. And again, a perfect world, you could do that. That'd be really nice. Don't get me wrong. But it doesn't work that way. That's TV and movies, okay? I'm giving you guys reality here. This isn't La La Land, okay? So don't do that. And you got to get stuff off your chest. Talk to your bros, your best friends. They'll help you out. They'll give you solutions to help your situation, problem solved. But anyway, guys, I thought that was a pretty good thing to read. I mean, again, you can tell by the tone of the guy. The guy's married, and he's kind of a little girly, but you can tell he gets some points on things, so I'll give him a pass on that. But he makes some good points about the unrealistic expectations, okay? And it's beyond the sixes, like I mentioned at the beginning of this thing here. So, but anyhow, be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this, guys. Let me know your experiences with this. Let me know about any other unrealistic expectations that he didn't mention or I didn't mention. It'll be fun to share. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.